All right. We are back. LillyBomb is back, baby. So, doing kind of a simple one this time, but I let it go normal quickness or normal speed. So if you guys actually want to follow along, I thought maybe some people are down to do that. I don't know how many of you use this for actually how-to stuff, or if you're just watching it just for some background noise or some visual noise. But on this one, switching it up, I'm going to let you see exactly what I do. All my imperfections just out there for you to see. So, I just darkened up the levels to get that black really nice and black. So whenever I select the white, it's not going to pull out little random pieces of my drawing. I'm zooming in just to kind of check and see, because there are some lighter things since this was hand-drawn. I want to make sure it still gets those, so you can see those edges of those are a little bit lighter. If I hadn't darkened those up black, it might have choppied up those guys a little bit. And there's still probably a little choppiness to them, but at least I find this is just the way I do it. So I keep some of that line character or personality. And I'm just going through selecting what's going to be the negative space, like the around pieces, because you'd see little specks and imperfections. And I even cleaned off my scanner bed, and I'm still getting little tiny things, and there's just no way around it. But this is the way to get rid of those. Then I overlay it with like a rich black, so all through the CMYK I put 100%, 100%, 100%. Because even if you drag it down to the very bottom corner, it's not all the way 100, so it's not like the richest, deepest black. So I do this just so it's black as hell. I went ahead and rolled up the little FX thing. I don't need to see that. And I believe, I don't know if I do it right here, where I usually put this blending mode at multiply. So I did not put it to multiply yet, but I will eventually. So you can go ahead and do that if you want, if you're following along, or you can wait for when I do it. And now I'm just going to throw in a background to see if I didn't get any of those little funky imperfections floating out in nether regions. And move it down below. Oh yeah, whenever I had scanned in that tie, I accidentally scanned it in black and white, so then whenever you bring it in, everything's in grayscale. It's a happy little thing you find out when you start putting color in. What the heck, all this is gray. But now we're good, we got a nice little white background, nice bold drawing to work off of. Go ahead and name your layers, of course. Be good. Look at that, even gave it background. So now you've got your others locked, so you don't accidentally start drawing on them like I do. And contiguous means like it doesn't matter if they're in or out. Or it does mean like they have to be touching. If you uncheck that, then it'll pick that color no matter where it's at, inside or outside. And then I'm expanding them, so see how it's just right on the line right now? I like to get it up in the black line. It's not that often where that causes a problem, but sometimes if you maybe blur something, or I just like to really have a decent overlap. I just feel like it's a best practice kind of thing. And then see, these weren't touching, so that contiguous thing didn't pick them up. So I'm just going through making sure I'm not going to have any little peekaboo white spots when I'm coloring in stuff. Yep, up there in the little crotch of the tie. I doubt if that's what they call it, but yeah, it made sense at the moment. And see, I didn't even get the top part of the tie, because when I magic wanded it, I just selected the bottom. I'm just realizing that now. I'm gonna be like, oh, let's hand do this with my janky mouse skills. Not too bad though, hey. Keep it together. Oof, got a little close there. No problem. And to do that, to subtract something out of your selection, just hold down Alt or Option, and that'll take it to remove. And same thing, if you missed a little spot and you need to add it, just hold down Shift, and then that'll let you add a piece on. So going for a little lime green tie. That's probably not the most professional tie, but hey, not the most professional guy over here. Select in the little folded over part of the tie. Gonna get it set backwards. Give it some depth. The mouse skills to use. I don't use a Wacom or anything like that. Could just never get used to it. I bought a big one, I bought a small one. I watched YouTube videos on how to set them up to where they feel more natural. And I don't think it'll ever work for me until I could maybe afford to get like a, what is it, the Cintiq, the ones where you just draw on the screen, and those are way above my price range. But hey, if you peeps watching this video will keep subscribing and liking and showing some love, maybe in a million years I'll make enough off the YouTube where I can buy a Cintiq. That would be cool. But for now, growing those mouse skills. And a little tip for people that are like me who don't have the money for those tablets: whenever you're trying to draw something precise on the mouse, if what I do at least is I drag my thumb and my pinky on the desk to kind of stabilize my hand, it really seems to help. So give that a try, maybe it'll be helpful for you. So I got that all shaded in. I'm just going to work my way around and select my shadows. Or actually, I think I start doing that, and then I realize I need to get my stripes colored in first. Yep, I just realized it. It's almost like I'm the one who actually did this. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm just going to go through and select all my areas where I want the other color of stripe. Then I'll have those all set up, and then I can start shading and highlighting and stuff. It's funny, I picked this image because I saw it and I was like, oh, this one is a super simple one, and it'll be super quick to do, which, you know, it pretty much is. It took me like 30 minutes to do it, and usually we're talking hour and a half, 2 hours for most things. But as I was going through it and doing lines and shading, I was like, it's not really the totally most simple one. If it was just maybe a one color tie, I could have really knocked that out quick, but this is just a little more visually interesting, hopefully. Hopefully you guys think so. Just gonna watch me mouse trace the hell out of this thing. Yep, keep that going. And I know I don't really have much subscribers or people watching yet, but for you few that are, definitely let me know if there's like a certain thing you'd like me to draw, a certain process or technique. I'm totally down to do whatever. Just like if there was just one little thing on here where you're like, I just want to see how to, you know, not type out of a shape or something. Just let me know and I'll do it in just a real quick little video, just so you can have it as a resource. Because I know I use those all the time. I'm always Googling like how to do X, Y, and Z, and I love it when it's just a short, succinct, to the point video. Pretty much exactly what this is not. But then again, I also love to watch artists like work through their stuff and talk through it, and that's why I decided to make this. And I'm trying to make them the length of videos that I like to watch, so that's all I'm going off of. So if you guys think, hey, I want to watch all of them full length, cool, I'll do it. And if you're like, I want to watch them, I want them all to be 5 minutes, and I do not want to hear your stupid voice, I just want to hear music, cool, man, I will freaking do it. Just let me know. So I'm still just using the lasso tool with my mouse, refining this little edge, got that little wonky on, and I think I'm going to start coloring in these stripes. Yes. Oh no, one more, there we go. And I was thinking, I couldn't remember which one of the Adobe apps has like the color guide thing. I really like that one where it shows you like you can pick like triad or monochromatic, and it gives you like a whole little color swatch thing for you to. I really love using those, but I guess it's not on this one. Maybe it's in Illustrator or InDesign. I don't even remember. I don't use it that often, but for this time I was like, oh, that'd be a fun one to show using, and it was not in Photoshop. So maybe next time I do something in Illustrator, I'll grab that. Or it's kind of fun in Illustrator to build swatches. So if you're like, all right, I'm gonna figure out like a color palette with that color guide, then you can select those and save them out as just a swatch, a saved swatch panel or saved swatch book. And then I could open it up here in Photoshop and then have all those colors selected out. So if you really want to put some time into it and all that, and do more than me just going here and selecting rando colors and filling them in, which is still fun and loose. It's all just how you like to work. I'm just trying to kind of give a little dimension, give a little highlight here, a little shadow there. And see, there's where that contiguous is nice and handy. Since I'm on the color layer, and that's the only color I'm using, boom, just select it all. You know you've got all that color, and you can just start working in it. Very handy. And so kind of what I've been doing is, for a long time, is I'll go through and select the main colors, put some basic kind of feathered highlight and shadow on it, then come back, do another layer, like right there, and then put the more crisp, detailed highlights and shadows. And that's just my style. I'm not saying that's a way to do it or not, but you're watching me do that, and if you feel like doing it, then you'll see how I do it. You can do it yourself. Or like most people, you know, you can try this way, and then you realize, oh, I like using maybe this one part of that, but then there's another way I like to use this tool, or I like to use another tool to select it, or whatever. That's what makes this all got cool different art. So. Just selecting, put a little, I keep calling it the crotch of the tie, so I'm just going to roll with that, giving that crotcho with some contrast. Or depth, I guess. I guess contrast, depth. Kind of both work together. Yeah, so look at this. Keep it in there. Very swerving driving. Not too bad. Get a little cleanups. And honestly, there's been a few times when I just felt like playing around and working on a piece of art, and it's kind of got a cool look if you do it real sloppy, where you're going out of the lines and it's just real recluse. It's a kind of a fun look. Maybe I'll have to do a video like that. I've only done a few pieces like that, but I actually liked kind of how all of them turned out. Just since it wasn't necessarily my style, that's like the favorite of mine, I just kind of did it for experimentation, even though I liked it. But maybe just for an example on here, I might do that so you guys can just see it. Now I'm just going through selecting everywhere that I want to do shading, like shadows. I think I go back on that one. I don't think I keep that there. Or maybe I do. And I always do my little, I don't even know what these are, just like little artifacts, I guess, like self-placed artifacts. I don't know what you call them. Done it for, I feel like almost my whole time I've ever drawn. I don't know where I got it from. I'm sure it's from somewhere, probably some random cartoon that I liked. Actually, there was an old, I think it's called Cartoons magazine, like Cartoons, or even maybe a Z at the end, and the guy did like hot rod cars and stuff, and I used to love that. And I kind of feel like he's the one who had like all these specs that would be around stuff and would have kind of lots of little shading like that. I'm curious. I'll have to go back and look. You guys should look it up. I think his name's Trosley is the artist. Trosley, I believe. Trosley. but he's got some cool stuff. I don't know if he's still doing stuff. I assume so, but check it out. It's kind of fun. So yeah, look at that. Now it's kind of getting some little life brought into it. Yep, name the layer. Good job, me. Now I'm doing highlights. It's scaring me that I'm not locking that shadow layer. It's frightening. It's going to make me uneasy until I lock it. I'm sure I'll end up locking it, but I'm not liking that. Just hanging out there, ready to get drawn on. And I feel like if I remember right, the highlights on this one kind of gave me problems. And just looking at it now, I almost think I could have done without them. Like with the feathered highlighting I did, I think that kind of gave it the lightness it needed, and the shadows made that feel even more so, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure I leave some of the highlighting in. I play around with it a lot, trying to get it to feel right. And that's all this is. Like, that's all any art is just trying to do something that feels good and that looks how you want it to look. It's never really exactly how you look in your head. I don't know if any artist is like, that is the exact visual I had planned on drawing in my head. Maybe there are. I don't know. Just spouting off now. Watching your lasso. Some highlights, just spouting off some BS. And it's funny, that circle that's around my brush, I went ahead and picked on the screen recorder to highlight clicks because I thought it might be helpful for you guys to see what I'm clicking. But I had no idea it was going to like make a bigger circle around the brush, so it looks a little crazy. But just so you guys know what that is and you're not messaging me like, what weird tool are you using, or what issue of Creative Cloud is that? It's just the screen capture setting to highlight, so you guys can see what I'm clicking on and selecting. Yeah, see, I didn't like the white. It's kind of too bright. Then the yellow, I was like, that's not really doing anything either. If anything, it made it look like it was weird and stained. And I'm like, maybe no highlights. Do I leave them off? I feel like it. Oh, I took it off. And it looks like I went back and changed my mind. The internal struggle. Now what am I going to do? I think I just, simplify it way down. Going slow. I look tentative. Here, try to kind of, there we go. That feels better. I think I was too used to drawing my guys where I'm like coloring in large parts of their skin, doing highlights or shadows, and this is different. Go back in the white, Trying to be a little lighter handed on it. Never lock that shadows layer. Oh man, people. I'm just living on the edge. And then I think I had seen some imperfections I wanted to go back and touch up. Just some little things that while I was coloring it in kind of kept bugging me, and I was like, alright, if I keep noticing these, other people will probably notice these, or not. Is the great thing about Photoshop, that you can go and clean up your drawing. That's so nice. I used to draw, like sketch with a ballpoint pen, So there's no fixing any imperfections. I did it for years and years and years and years. I really don't know why. And then when I finally started drawing in pencil and then inking it with a pen, and game changer. So, just being lazy or stubborn, definitely I would recommend doing that for sure. And I would say use the, what is it, Copic, or not Copics, well, I used the Prismacolor ones, but there's also the other ones that are like the pins, so you can get the different sizes. I can't think of what they call them, but you get them in like a 0.05, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, all the way up to like a 1, and those dry a lot better, because like if you do use like a ballpoint like I used to use, you're smearing that ink all over. If you use the pencil first and then ink it with a ballpoint, it's terrible. It's horrible. Because, that's what I did originally. I was like, I should just ink these in, but you definitely need to use a little nicer pen. I guess they're just like felt tip pens. They dry pretty much like as you're drawing it. So then when you're finished with your drawing, it's easy to go over and just erase it, and you got your nice inked in drawing. So that looks like the tie itself is pretty much done deal. And now I'm just going to go in and put some background just to give it a little more flavor. And on this one I just kind of mimicked the pattern on the tie. I just thought that would make sense. Striped tie, striped background. Maybe the tie is born from the background. I don't know. That's stupid. Yeah, that green wasn't really doing it for me. That's a little better. Because I didn't want to be the exact same color as the tie, which honestly that probably would have just been the smarter thing to do. But I just wanted some contrast from it a little bit. I'm going to help it kind of try to lift it off of there, give it some shadows. And just put a solid color behind those lines, nice and simple. Select a yellow. Go. Now it's time to put a little shade on the yellow. Or I guess I didn't quite love that yellow just yet. There we go. And a lot of times I don't slide, like, as you saw, I didn't slide down to a darker yellow. I just use the actual color slider and slide it a little more to an orange to do my shadows, because I feel like it just kind of dulls them a little bit when you just slide it down towards black. And I mean, that is exactly what it's doing. You're just kind of dulling your color down, adding black to it. So I just kind of like to slide it to a richer color. Like if you're at yellow, slide it to orange, or if you're at orange, slide it to red. I just feel like it's nice and bright and keeps it nice and saturated. Although there, broke through exactly what I was saying, and I just slid it down into the gray a little bit. But hey, there's lots of ways to do it. Well, didn't select the layer. There we go. So now when you paint, it's just going to be on that selected part. And that, if you hover over the actual layer thumbnail and hit Command and click, that's what selects that, in case you're wondering. And I believe that is it. That is our tie. Stripe tie. So yeah, thanks y'all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe, like, go to LillyBomb.com, get a LillyBomb shirt, and I'll see you next time.